Hi there, I'm Bunnyman, known for my critically acclaimed Lord of the Hundreds mood guide. In this video I want to discuss the other half of the Marauders expansion, the Keepers in Iron. Let's see what diverse moods this faction holds. Oh. Well, don't worry, because these badges are already complicated enough. There are plenty of tips and tricks to help you become an effective Retinue raider. But before we delve into that, let's discuss the intricacies of setting up as the badges. The most common way to set up as the Keepers in Iron is by encamping in both of your homeland clearings. This ensures that you get to draw 3 cards, so you can safely put your entire hand into your retinue at the end of your turn. If you play with randomly suited clearings, you may be able to set up into 2 clearings of the same suit. Having 2 homeland clearings of the same suit can help you recover relics more safely at the start of the game. Relics only go up to a value of 3, so you only need to rule 1 more clearing of the same suit to ensure that you won't lose any cards in the move or recover column. The biggest downside of setting up like this is that it can become harder to recruit new warriors because of your way stations sharing the same suit. This is why it is smart to always leave at least 1 badger in a clearing of a different suit, so you may encamp and recruit there if necessary. Movement is very important as the Keepers, because if you don't have enough moves in your retinue, it can be very hard to get into or out of clearings where you want to delve. If you don't have enough cards in the first and last columns of your retinue, you can easily lock yourself out of the most optimal turns. This is why it is important to protect your move or recover column over your battle and delve column. Ruling 3 clearings of the same suit can be very hard later in the game. If you are fortunate enough to control 2 homeland clearings of the same suit, don't hesitate to keep control of these clearings for as long as possible. You may feel inclined to migrate to the other side of the map as soon as there are no relics around your homeland clearings, but don't forget a safer alternative. By creating a large enough badger ball, it is still possible to rush to the other side of the map, delve for a few relics and bring them home back to your original way stations. As the Keepers in Iron, you have a great card draw. Leaving 2 way stations on the map at all times, even if you aren't planning on recovering, can make recruiting and filling up your retinue pretty easy. Having 3 way stations on the map gives you even better card draw, but it can lead to moments where you can't recover certain relics if you didn't place them right. It is important to have a careful balance between 2 and 3 way stations, so you don't screw yourself over later in the game. Because you are allowed to encamp before your crafting phase, you're able to choose where to have your crafting pieces on the same turn as you make use of them. This makes you a great card crafter. While cards are very important to your engine, it can sometimes be worth it to craft them for easy points or great abilities. The badgers are one of the few factions that can craft coins in turn 1 without putting themselves into any danger. Items worth 2 points are often also worth crafting, but be careful with craftable cards worth only 1 point. Leaving them in your hand so you can improve your retinue at the end of your turn is often more important. Having an extra move or battle can be more beneficial than a single point over the time of an entire game. There are plenty of craftable cards that can make your life easier as the Keepers in Iron. You can divide them into 3 categories. Cards that make your recruiting and filling up your retinue easier, cards that help improve your movement abilities, and cards that make your ability to delve easier. Finally, Master Engravers makes your great item crafting ability even better. Making a great badger retinue can be difficult. Unlike the Erie's Decree, you have to decide what you want to do to it a whole turn in advance. But there are certainly a few points of advice that can make it a bit easier for you. First off, it is important to put cards into your move and recover column as soon as possible. This lets you respond to your opponent's moves. If you prioritize delving, you may find it hard to recover all of your relics that you dug up, making you an obvious target for the table. If your card draw is really bad, and you barely get any bird cards, it is better to put bird cards in your move column over your move and recover column. Having bird cards in the first column lets you respond to your opponent's moves a lot better. You can also use the suited cards in your move and recover column for just recovering. After you've added at least 1 card to both your first and third column, you can finally start adding cards to your battle and delve column. Because of your great card draw ability, you're likely to draw a lot of cards that benefit other factions. Just like the Eerie Dynasty, you're able to lock these cards away into your retinue, temporarily ensuring that other factions can't get to them. When drawing craftable items like the tea and hammer, or great craftable abilities like Corvid Planners, consider locking them away into your retinue to hinder other factions. During the game it is likely that you will lose a few cards from your retinue, so it is important to optimize which cards you lose without it benefiting your opponents. When you remove a card from your retinue, it will eventually end up back at the top of the deck. When you need to remove a bird card from your retinue, throw away your Faithful Retainer first. These cards do not go into the discard pile, so there's no chance your opponents will ever use these. Sometimes it is also optimal to throw away a bird card over a suited card. If you need to throw away a card from your delve column and the only suited card matching that clearing is a favor card, it might be better to throw away a bird card instead to prevent any of your enemies from blowing up a lot of clearings later. Finally, it is worth remembering that you don't have to perform all of your actions from your retinue and that your retinue is entirely swappable. This means that it is possible to add a few cards to your retinue to deceive your enemies. You can pretend that you really want to delve in a certain clearing while having different plans altogether. This can be risky though, because smart opponents know that it is better to hit your badges rather than cluttering up clearings where you intend to delve. A dead badger can't execute a retinue plan anyway.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
No, I ain't talking about that freak, alright? He's not here, is he? How do I get this fucking thing off?
One shudders to imagine what inhuman thoughts lie behind that mask. One dreams of chronic and sustained cruelty.
There are several factions that will force you to play a bit differently. As the Keepers in Iron, your biggest threat is the Woodland Alliance. Those small sympathy tokens spread around the map can be a real pain in the ass. Because your entire engine is dependent on cards, moving into a sympathetic clearing will cost you a lot. The best moment to attack loose sympathy is when your retinue is already decently filled, so losing a few cards isn't as costly. If you want to destroy sympathy tokens, focus on the tokens that are in the clearings that don't match your hand first. This way, you won't lose any cards and can still add them to your retinue at the end of your turn. If you must move into a sympathetic clearing that aligns with cards in your hand, use those cards to recruit. That way you won't be forced to give them to the Alliance. The most strategic opener for the Alliance is to put all of their starting sympathy tokens around your homeland clearings. In this scenario it can be more optimal to not move at all and put all of your cards in your retinue than to attack the tokens and leave your moveset very limited. On your next turn you can then use your cards to recruit and battle the sympathy away. Other foes may hinder you through more violent means. Both the Moles and the Warlord have enough battle actions to kill any badges that are defending unrecovered relics. With the help of the Brigadier and the Mayor, the Moles can dig into your clearing and then attack you at least 4 times. And while the Warlord needs to spend more moves to get to your precious relics, they often have more than enough battle actions to tear you to shreds. Try to avoid leaving any unrecovered relics on the board against these foes. With the Devout Knight's ability, you will either lose 1 or 2 badges 75% of the time when you're attacked. If you are forced to leave a relic on the map, be sure to defend it with a large amount of warriors to deter attackers. The lizards should also not be overlooked. Because they automatically rule in a clearing if it has a garden in it, you may find it harder to delve in certain locations. And while they are usually not capable of attacking effectively every single turn, they can easily take over a clearing once or twice a game thanks to their acolytes. If you need to leave a relic on the map, be sure not to leave it in a hated suit. The last thing that you want is for your Devout Knights to be converted into relic destroying cultists. While it is true that you will get most of your points from recovering relics and crafting items, you shouldn't forget that you are one half of the Marauders expansion. It is possible to recruit 10 warriors at a way station at the start of your turn. If you have been locked out of the possibility to easily delve in a clearing where you need to delve, you can still kneecap your opponents to score some points as a marauding monster. Remember that you also don't lose any cards from your battle and delve column if you don't intend to delve. And because you are capable of swapping and filling up your retinue with ease, you can have plenty of battle actions in the mid game. You can also use your Devout Knight's ability to your advantage when pillaging the strongholds of your enemies. If you delve for a relic after your first battle, all your subsequent battles will be a lot safer. When attacking with a relic, you will take 0 hits 75% of the time. This way you will barely lose any warriors while crushing your foes. It is important to choose the right relic to do this with. If you leave this relic on the board at the end of your turn, your enemies will most likely want to crush it for 2 victory points. This is why you should only do this with relics that hold less value to you. It is the most optimal to do this with a relic that is worth only 1 point and is the 4th of its kind. Not only is it worth only 1 point upon recovery, it is also very unlikely that you will fill up the 4th column on your player board, so you will not miss out on 2 potential bonus points. If you intend to leave a lot of badges on the board at the end of your turn, be prepared for Live of the Land. At the end of your turn you must remove 1 warrior from each clearing with 4 or more warriors. Of course, the easiest way to not suffer from Live of the Land is by spreading around a lot at the end of your turn, but sometimes this is not possible. If you only have 1 move left in your retinue, you will have to think carefully. Live of the Land only takes away 1 warrior per clearing with 4 or more warriors. This means that a clearing with 8 warriors loses just as many warriors as a clearing with 4. If no other options are available, you can bundle up your warriors on your final move to ensure you lose as few warriors as possible. When you are nearing the endgame, it is likely that you will somehow have to reach the other side of the map to delve for your remaining relics. There are 2 distinct ways of doing this that depend on the factions that you are facing. If you are playing against factions that clutter up the board with buildings, such as cats and birds, it is very unlikely that you will be able to set up a way station on the other side of the board. In this scenario, it is often easier to build up a massive badger pile. Then you can move into a clearing on the other side of the map and battle there until you can delve for relics. Finally, you can move back on your side of the board and recover your relics at your way station. If the board is not as filled up and you don't have a lot of cards to recruit with, you can instead plan out your turn so that you may recover on your next turn. By spending your turn spreading your badges across several clearings on the other side of the map, you can make it easier to encamp in at least one of those clearings. On your next turn you can then delve and recover relics on the other side of the board. This is definitely more risky because your enemies can try to stop you between your turns. You can make this a bit harder by spreading out your badges so much that your enemies have to waste a lot of actions to get rid of you. Some players may not do this if they have to choose between using all of their actions to stop you or scoring points. You can also deter opponents from attacking you by leaving a relic on your side of the map. Some point-hungry opponents may betray each other to destroy your relic. When nearing the finish line, your opponents may try to dog jail you. By leaving only 1 badger alive in a clearing with 0 empty building slots, you can be locked out of the game for several turns. There are several tactics that you can employ to not get dog jailed. The most obvious tactic is by spreading out your badges so much that removing all of your badges in a collaborative effort can be really difficult. Spreading into a clearing with 3 empty building slots, when the vagabond or the rats are in the game, can make filling up all of those building slots also very difficult for your enemies. If a single badger is still alive at the start of your next turn, you can thus still encamp. You can also try to recruit as much as possible and sit in 1 clearing. If you have a relic with you, this can make killing you very difficult. Crafting the Lookouts card can also be very helpful. This card lets you put down an extra keeper warrior at a clearing before you get attacked. Adding a warrior to a clearing before each battle can make dog jailing you also very difficult. And that's the Keepers in Iron, a fun faction that holds even more depth than people realize. I hope some of the things I mentioned in this video will help you solve the complicated badger puzzle in your next game. And by the way, I'm really glad you guys liked my previous video. There's not a lot of content out there for this great game, and I wanted to give the folks that were looking for something more some niche tips and tricks to spice up their games. If there's anything else you'd like me to discuss, drop it in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. Bunnyman out.
Dancing, walking, rearranging furniture. Babs is shopping. I let the bird out of the cage.